TeamBRIT are only now coming over the Dearly, and they've just rejoined the track. So they've only lost one position by doing that splash and dash, but for TeamBRIT, they could now be under pressure because the gap is now 5.8 seconds on that last time around. 1.3 seconds was taken out of Bobby Trundley by Eric Bourdais.
Crazy stuff there. And it's a matter of time. There you see in the background the car that's catching them, and TeamBRIT, they're just trying to get it to the end here in terms of fuel, because I think they're pushing it. Although saying that, Eric Bourdais is also pushing it. 34 laps on their stint here, but they should be good for the end. It's the teams of CMR Team and Revolution Sim Racing Red, the ones that we're concerned about as well for fuel towards the end. But now this time, it should keep on. It's just falling down as this time, and it's new tyres versus old tyres as well as fuel saving.
Yeah, 4.6, 4.5, 4.3 seconds is the gap now between Bobby Trundley and Eric Bourdais, so it's come down even more since the last time we saw it. It's just extended out a little bit more as they head through this last step of the course. We will find out how much quicker Eric was this time around, but I expect it to be over a second as he comes across the line. The lap was posted by Bobby Trundley, 1 minute 24.6. Eric Bourdais, 1 minute 23.1. Only 3/10 slower than Jason Dyer in second position, taking another 1.5 seconds out of Bobby Trundley. I think TeamBRIT are in trouble at this stage in the race, and I think they could lose this 7th position unless Bobby Trundley can really defend hard in what is going to be a very tight final 5 minutes for that team.
Well, time is running out here, though. That's the thing. We've got 8.5 minutes remaining, so they can defend for the life here and try their best to hold on to that position. But you can see that time is just falling away, and it's just going to be a matter of time before this Mercedes is right on their tail and putting pressure on. But as we said earlier on, catching is one thing, passing is quite another. And Eric Bourdais is certainly pushing it. He's pushing that car to its limit at the moment, and using as much of the track as possible. He's got to be careful that he doesn't push that little bit too hard here.
And if he pushes too hard, he can go over the limit, and we've seen drivers do it so far today. 7 minutes and 30 seconds are going to remain roughly as he comes across the line. And it's going to be exactly 7 minutes and 30 seconds as he comes across the line. This time around, he was 1.4 seconds quicker. So again, Bobby Trundley losing even more time. 2 laps, and these guys are going to be nose and tail with each other.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what it's going to be. And this is where racing experience, is going to get it's going to get interesting. But it also comes into play as racing experience. Knowing how to position your car out on track here is what you can see happen, and really knowing how to position your car. I mean, we saw early on in the race how people were just holding that inside line in towards Nick and Brooke, and they were able to hold on to the position. But the fact that you have got the added thing of new tyres versus old tyres, I think that's where you're going to see that difference as they run wide over the grass. That's caught 2 teams out already in this race as doing that at Nick and Brooke, but it's well, he's certainly pushing hard.
And the gap is already down to less than 2 seconds. And they can actually fit on the same frame going through that final corner at Lodge, up over Dearly, riding on board with Eric Bourdais. You can see ahead the driver of Bobby Trundley. This time around, lap number 249, he was only 1.2 seconds quicker. In fact, I'm saying only, yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying only 1.2 seconds quicker. It's not. It's still an extortionately amount quicker. And by the end of this lap, he's going to be in the draft, so I actually expect this lap to be even faster compared to Bobby Trundley. I think Trundley's now really struggling on his tyres in that number 68 BMW because they are nearly 2 hours old.
Yeah, absolutely. It's getting towards the end of its life as Bobby runs wide at Shell Hairpin. Now he can get on the power and V out that hairpin, but that's going to cost him a ton of time. And there you go, about 0.4 of a second just drop off the difference between the two of them. So this is what happens when you've got old tyres versus new tyres, and you've got that pressure from behind, that relentless pressure, catching it again, running wide over the grass at the exit of Knickebrook.
And Bobby Trundley clearly feeling the pressure, and I've just had the realisation that the tyre he's running on are over 2 hours old, because they were put on by Matt, or they were put on the car before the splash and dash, I have a feeling. So they are extremely old tyres, the oldest that we're seeing out on track at the moment, easily getting on for 100 laps old. And I think for Bobby Trundley, this is now going to play into the hands of SimsportNews Racing, powered by iZone White, and they're going to be catching up as they head through turn number 1 with 5 laps remaining on the board. And for Eric Bourdais, it's just a case of lining up where he thinks best. The pass is going to be done nice and safely, and in fact I think Bobby Trundley may even let him have it because of how quickly Eric has closed into his mirrors. Bobby goes defensive on the inside, so he's clearly not going to give it up easy. He's got to hold on for 5 laps, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it.
It's good. I think it might be an ask too far, but don't count them out. They're an experienced race team. Look at that car. Look at the squirrely nature of that BMW on the exit of the hairpin. And that's just showing the difference between old and new tyres. Able to get the power down as the Mercedes alongside. It's not over yet though, Jack.
It was the fact that Bobby Trundley was sideways at 200 kilometres an hour, side by side. They go through Knickebrook. Trundley actually barges, almost pushes the SimsportNews Racing machine off the track, and he's got to do the work all over again, back to a second behind. And this is going to give Trundley a little bit more time to just compose himself for a defence. I'm not sure about that move through Knickebrook, actually.
I just think that was a lack of grip.
Yeah,
I think that was a lack of grip on the wrong line, as well as Grip TV have had a penalty for the instant limit violation, so that's them on pit road at the moment serving their penalty. But 3 minutes 15 remaining. Ooh, this is getting a bit tense.
This is definitely getting a bit tense, and these guys have still got 4 laps to go. So it's going to be far more than 3 minutes that they've got left to run in this race. Probably more, getting on for 4 or 5 minutes. And we see them once again. Eric Bourdais has closed the gap to Bobby Trundley. But Trundley is going to have to defend like he did last time. And again, with every lap, he's losing grip on these tyres. He's got much, much slower through the Shell Oils hairpin this time around, and this is going to give Eric Bourdais the run as they head up to Hilltop.
It was a better exit though from Bobby Trundley, and he was able to get the power down smoothly. He knows what he's got to do. Maybe change the traction control setting in his BMW hard onto the brakes there. Up over the curb at Knickebrook, up over Clay Hill now, in towards Druids. And if you're SimSport News, this is where you've got to get the run. And the exit there, try and make the run. Running over the grass there, that's not ideal, so you're not going to get the power down compared to the BMW. The BMW doesn't need to go defensive quite yet. On the power again, up and over Dealey, and across the line yet again. 1 minute and 53, we're into the 2-minute warning.
We are indeed into the 2-minute warning. And I have a feeling that we're going to be getting on for one of the last laps of this race now. I'm being told by one of the race organisers and stewards of this event that potentially we could be now entering the last lap. And I don't think we will. I think we're going to have one more to go after this one, Paul, for the leader.
Yeah, the leader's potentially going to be another lap. So I wouldn't say it's the last lap yet.
Yeah, that's definitely, we are going to have one more lap for the leader after this one. So for these guys, they've still got 2.5 laps to decide who is going to be finishing in 7th. Bobby Trundley on the grass. Jonathan Palmer won't be too happy with that one. Moving to the inside to defend. This time around, Eric Bourdais not going to put a challenge on coming into Knickebrook. Probably a sensible decision. So Bobby Trundley still holding on to the position. And with every second this clock ticks down, it looks more and more likely that Trundley will hold on to this position.
I wouldn't say that yet. There's still plenty of racing to go on here between these two. as they're coming down into Lodge Corner again. Going defensive, parking it on the apex, doing every little trick that he possibly can to do that. The track gets a little bit darker as cloud cover comes over. Looking to the inside there was Eric Bourdais, and he's going to try and get the run out of Old Hall. This is an opportunity, and Trundley's blocking here into Cascades. Defensive driving to the limit. They've got a lap traffic ahead, and Trundley having to go defensive once again as the race leader is now onto his final lap.
So the white flag has indeed flown. This will be the final lap of the race for your leader, but for these guys, they've still got one more after this one. Bobby Trundley having to really hold off from Eric Bourdais as he comes through the Shell Oils corner for the penultimate time. On the run up to Hilltop for the penultimate time. We have got traffic ahead. That is the Revolution Sim Racing yellow car. I expect them to get out of the way after Knickerbrook. Eric Bourdais not close enough once again to put a challenge onto Bobby Trundley. That means he's probably only got about 3 more opportunities to actually get a pass done, Paul, because there isn't much time left in this race for these guys as they head into Druids. The Revolution Sim Racing yellow car still ahead of Bobby Trundley, still doing an absolutely brilliant job of defending.
Oh, he's doing everything right here. They go past the back marker. The back marker realises, I don't want a piece of this. This could actually work out for the 116. No, it doesn't. They're not able to get the cutback out of the final corner, but we're going to have to look back at the race leader because he's coming through. He's going slowly, actually. I think he's trying to let his teammate catch up so they can have a photo finish. So we'll just quickly nip back just to see what's happening here between Trundley and the SimsportNews car.
And indeed so, it looks as though Bobby Trundley's still having to defend. And he's having to defend hard, but the checkered flag is about to fly for your leader. I think we might have to take our eyes off this for just one moment. The leader is going to bring himself over the deer leap, and behind him is going to be his teammate. It's going to be a Revolution Sim Racing 1-2. The blue team winning, the red team coming second after 6 hours of racing. That all comes to an end, but back to this battle for 7th position. I think this is going to have to be where our eyes are going to focus. Bobby Trundley still defending. Eric Bourdais going for one last move into Knickerbrook, not going to be able to make it moved. So Bobby Trundley still holding on to 7th position. One more opportunity for Eric Bourdais, and that's going to be coming into the Druids section and maybe into Lodge Corner for one final time. I'm not sure. There's contact. Bourdais going to go wide. Trundley manages to keep it onto the racing surface, and I think that's just given TeamBRIT enough of the gap they need. I think TeamBRIT might just hold on to this one. They will indeed. Bobby Trundley, what a performance over the last 5 minutes. He's going to bring that TeamBRIT car home in 7th position, after a brilliant drive to hold off from SimsportNews Racing in those final moments.
That was incredible defensive driving. If you ever want to see how to drive in a defensive manner and in a relatively fair manner, then that is how you do it. Brilliant job from TeamBRIT to be able to do that, but we can't take it away from this team. Look at them, they're lined up there on the Foster's circuit, and it is a 1-2 for Revolution Sim Racing Blue and Red.
And Revolution Racing Pink will come home in 11th position. So they finished P1, P2, P11. Their yellow car, which had trouble finishing